Welcome to Tip TV Finance, where I'm joined by Phil Thomas, who is the Director at London South East. How are you today, Phil?
I'm very good, thanks. You well?
I'm very well, bright and breezy, looking to see what the punters or the private investors are looking at the moment.
It's a mix of things. A lot of the minerals at the moment. I think there's been a lot of uncertainty around anything sort of mining and materials based with Trump, and but things are sort of leveling out a bit now. Top of our most traded at the moment is Sirius Minerals, SXX, SXX even. Obviously, they've recently said they're going to be changing their listing from AIM listing up to main market listing. And there's a bit of a massive spike in volume for them for the last few days as well. I think that's due to happen at the end of April, I believe. Their reasoning being they want to try and they're a 700 million market cap anyway, and they're trying to raise their profile on the global stage. So that's interesting. A lot of interest around that, chat around that, and that's been the most traded on the site recently.
Right.
We've got so the chatter changes every day. There's an interesting feature on the site. There's a trending tab, which will tell you actually what's been searched for actually, and that's based on what people are looking for in only one day. And that was trending at the solar oil was trending today. That one's been on the sort of the chat boards quite a lot recently. Yeah, for whatever reason, that one's got a bit of interest today. Not quite sure if there's something going on there. There doesn't seem to be particularly high volumes in trading. Yeah, I always like to see what's trending as well, just because it shows what people are interested in, regardless of what they're talking about. I mean, that particular share, solar oil, was down 2.8% today. So,
but it's almost the case that people might be saying one thing, but actually they might be trading another or searching a different thing. So it's a matter of balancing out whether people might be pretending that they're long or alleging they're long of something, but actually taking profits, etc.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I always think it's good to have a look around, not just look at one particular indicator or area of activity. I always try and see volume and see what's trading a lot in the mornings. I also see what people are talking about. But again, while the chat boards are a brilliant resource, you shouldn't believe everything you read, of course, and many people have an agenda, although I do think they're overall a force for good. But I do like to see what people are actually buying as well, because I think that's the most traded tab we have on the share price section of our site. I think it's a good indicator, really, what people are actually buying. There's actually a link on the bottom of the homepage as well that tells what the total trades has been for the day. You know, what is overall trading, but obviously that tends to be big institutional stuff mostly. So you tend to get your Barclays and your Lloyds up there. So it's not particularly interesting for maybe the smaller punter. The most chatted about in the last 7 days is a share called Bushveld. I hope I pronounced that right. Minerals. They're a smaller company, market cap of 56 million. And they're a South African. Well, they've got interest in South Africa. I think it's a vanadium and a titanium. I probably pronounced those wrong, but that's causing a lot of interest. It's not a penny share, so to speak. I mean, it's a decent sized company. It's not as well established as some of the bigger ones, but. Yeah, there's been some interest there. I think I saw a lot of directors buying shares as well. I believe it was that one.
So the shares there have sort of effectively doubled over the last month, and presumably looking at what you see on the site and the chatter, you might take the view that can either continue, or you follow it, or you take profits, etc.
Absolutely. I mean, to give you, it's down 3.2% almost today. So again, you have to be careful with these ones. It is a penny share, 7.5 pence, I think, with the bid at the moment. But yeah, it has doubled. There's been a lot more volume as well, and that's always something I like to see when trying to pick a stock to have a look at. Is there's been some volume, but then before sort of, I think it was 11th or 12th of March, there really was very little volume at all. So I'm always a bit cautious about companies like that. There hasn't been prior activity. There's a spike at the moment. It could be a blip, or maybe something's in the pipeline. We don't know. So that's one of interest.
Right, and so those are the two, Sirius and Bushveld Minerals, the two main sources of interest at the moment on the site.
Yes, yeah, they've been creating a bit of a stir. Things like rises and falls, obviously they change every day. They're not dictated by the users themselves. The hot chat changes on a daily basis. Today, actually, in the top three, you have got Solo. As talked about earlier, Bushveld, and actually number one is 88 Energy actually today. So there's something of a hot chat today about that.
It was interesting that these are actually quite old. They're old names from, let's say, last year, but they've come back and they're back in favour. I think 88 Energy are definitely one of those as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. There's been lots of shares where we sort of maybe there were a lot of noise a year or so back, and as you say, they're coming back round. So that is interesting. I'll certainly watch to see what's going on, and draw one's own conclusions, and obviously do your own research.
We certainly will. Phil Thomas, Director at London South East, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Zach.